Welcome to Story Route Zero.
This is a podcast where friends gather to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the strange worlds of video games. We often don't know where we're going, but that's half the fun. Come on the journey with us. Hit us up on Twitter at StoryRoute0. You can send us an email at StoryRoute0@gmail.com. That includes questions, concerns, comments, complaints, pet pics. Send us some recipes. Send us some stories about your day. We're going to listen.
Podcast, start your engines. We have liftoff. Let's have a journey.
Our philosophy: possibly speak tongues, beat drums, Abyssinian, Street Baptist, wrap this in fine linen from the beginning, my practice extending across the atlas. I begat this flipping in the ghetto on a dirty mattress. You can't match this rapper / actress, more powerful than two Cleopatras, bomb graffiti on the tomb of Nefertiti. MCs ain't ready to take it to the Serengeti. My rhymes is heavy like the mind of Sister Betty. That is Lauren Hill. This is Story Route 0, episode 57. I am Matthew Keel, and I have three friends along with me. Michaela, looking ever so tired. How are you?
You look great too. Moose is like, abort.
Have you not learned?
Learned what?
Ugh.
That other voice has a shirt where he claims to make beer disappear. That's Moose Cool. How are you?
I don't claim, I do. But anyways, I'm good.
And representing the 6 Warcraftsmen of the apocalypse, Jason Marshall. How are you?
Doing well. Yourself?
I made visual jokes this week. I'm going to quote Michaela on this one. I'm still vertical at this point because, y'all, it's been a couple of weeks for me. But this Story Route 0, we talk about the video games. And we're adding a new segment this week where we all say fuck you to Jason. Or at least a couple of us will. I don't know about Michaela. You can chime in if you just want to just say it. Fuck you for making me edit all your reviews.
I was going to say, she's got to edit all this.
He has it. I didn't do any of his reviews since the last episode.
Which is good. I bet you.
Although he did submit one today for approval. Like a new idea, not a new review. Done. Dusted.
Okay. Well, with that, how was your weekend, Michaela?
Weekend was mostly good. It feels like it's been a month since last Monday, the last time I talked to you guys. A lot of stuff has happened in the past week. It's been very busy. Busy time.
Tell us.
Well, obviously, the day after I talked to you guys last, I put up my East 9 review, my first review of the year.
Which fucking sold me on that game. God damn it, Michaela. Fuck you
That's
too.
Why I didn't.
But yeah, I did that, and then I did an article on the worst named game ever, Project Triangle Strategy.
It's named after an Otaker song. It's fine.
It's named after a lack of creativity.
Song, which is the most creative, let me tell you.
Yep.
Anyway.
I also did some editing work this weekend on a Resident Evil article that another writer submitted because there is other writers besides me and Jason. We just sometimes forget they're there.
Nice.
And then I adulted. I did my taxes. My taxes should be pretty much done. Federal is electronically submitted. State is in the mail. Fun times.
Checks in the mail, mother truckers.
Give me that
Yeah.
money. Give me my money back.
Yeah.
I did a lot of different gaming things because it's an in-between week. I finished East, waiting for Persona to come out tomorrow, so did a lot of smaller gaming projects. And I recorded my guest appearance episode for RPG University on Saturday afternoon
Hell
about
yeah.
FF12.
Hell
That
yeah.
went very well. I think I had a lot of fun. At least we'll find out if it actually went well and if I was just spazzing out the whole time. When it comes out in a couple weeks or almost a month, I think it goes up March 18th.
I've
Thereabouts.
been listening to that show for quite a while, and I think I can only imagine that every other guest that's been a part of it says the same thing about their spot as you just did. Because when someone says, "Hey, just tell me about this," you're kind of like, "What? Oh boy."
Basically, you just extended an open invitation to a JRPG nerd to talk for an hour and a half. You brought this
Yeah.
on yourself.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then after I did that on Saturday, I left this apartment for the first time since like Christmas. Besides going to the grocery store, I went home for the night. I went to my mom's on Saturday evening, and I went to my dad's on Sunday to get out of this apartment, which is a source of stress in my life. So it was good to get out of here and remember what fresh air smells like. So I saw the fam, watched some movies, and just in general got away from it for a little bit. So very, very busy, lots of writing, lots of editing, lots of podcasting, lots of family, lots of gaming, lots of adulting accomplished in the past several days.
That was a very monotone little thing you did there. I was like, it's like
It's been a long day.
I can't tell your intensity of just detesting all of it at this point, because that's what it kind of sounded like.
I didn't detest it. I've just had it's been a Monday.
Okay, good.
I am vertical, as I usually say, but today was a day because we have somebody on vacation, which means picking up the slack is a thing that is happening in the office, virtual office. So I'm tired and forlorn.
Sure. Moose, how was your weekend, sir?
Weekend was good. Got new phones on Friday, so I've been playing with those. Very nice.
What'd you get?
I got a Samsung S21 because they trading in our current phones got us $600 credit. So we went from $33 a month for each phone to $8 a month.
Isn't it sad that trading in a phone gives you a $600 rebate, but for anything else, like that would be like astronomical. But phones cost so much money that, like, it's like $600. Like, oh, what? It's none of us are like, oh my god, that's so amazing. It's just like, oh, that's cool.
Nah, that's a phone.
Phones cost so much money that's just
Phones
like
cost twice what a PS5 costs.
Well, so
quite
like
frankly.
that was kind of the trend, like where they were going towards like 1,000 range and going up, and now they're coming backwards. So like the S20 was $999, and now the S21 is like $799 because they kind of like cut back on some things. Like it's all plastic. Like, well, not all plastic. The backing is plastic. It's not metal. So it's like a harder. They call it glastic because it's like supposed to protect like glass, but it's made out of plastic. Anyways, and then like it's not like you don't get that money back. It's just a credit that goes towards your bill for the time that you have the phone. So I was like, I don't care. I'm like, I'm paying $8 for a brand new phone, so I'm happy. And I jumped. Well, I don't want to say jumped ship because I didn't not like Pixel. I thoroughly enjoyed Pixel. Jason and I have talked, amongst ourselves at how much we like our Pixels and our cameras and stuff. But I wanted to try something different because besides my Pixels, the only other Droid phone I had was like the Motorola Droid 2, like way back in like 2010, 2011. So I was like, let's try a Samsung, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. The screen is awesome. It's super quick, beautiful, and like you could see where like where Google cuts corners with the Pixel to get it at the price point it is. So I'm just enjoying the hell out of it. So I spent some of the weekend like messing with that, and then helped some people clean up. Well, now and then I cleaned up because unlike some people who have been getting snow and sadly ice, we have been getting nothing but fucking rain. Like rain like you wouldn't believe it. Like rained all last week because it's not cold enough here in North Carolina for it to freeze. So it's nothing but rain. And so like our whole house is like hardwoods, except for the bathrooms, which are tile. And so I like vacuumed, mopped, and cleaned up. And then, it was raining this morning again and let the dogs in. And I was like getting coffee this morning. I'm like, I looked down and I'm like, it doesn't even look like I did anything. So I was like, whatever. And I came back in here and went back to work. But yeah, it was a good weekend.
Jason?
Pretty uneventful. In-laws came over Saturday, got lunch, doing some chores around the house. Went to change an outdoor light bulb. There's a wall unit air conditioner right by the light bulb. So I climb the ladder, unscrewing the cap. I look in the little space between the AC and the wall. It's about this big. There is a beehive, like into the wall. It was one of those. I like froze. I'm like, oh God.
But it's the dead of winter. You should have been all right.
Yes, but that wasn't the first thought.
Right. No. I know.
Because I don't think I've ever been
thought.
that close to a hive, and I was just like, okay, fuck. I like the light bulb happened to be in at that point. I'm like, okay, we're done. I was like, Jess, when you get a chance, go look out there. So that was I was like, oh, fun. But yeah, we got more snow. Well, not as heavy. A lot of ice and slush. So that was the end of our driveway right by the door. There's a little dip, so water just kind of pools and then turns to ice and slush. So that was
Fun.
And then you tell like the kids and the dog like not to go into it, and they aim directly for it. Amelia pretty much sat down in it.
Awesome.
That's kids. That's what they do.
So
I mean, that's their manifestation of asking, but why though?
but why? Or why? Yeah, I mean, luckily it didn't snow today till after she went to school and stopped before the pickup. So because it started snowing and we're like, fuck. So it's gonna be an early dismissal. But it wasn't that bad, so. But yeah, pretty uneventful. Other than the beehive, thankfully, dead. And well, the previous owners had, I don't know what to call them, bee boxes. They had like their own bees in the yard.
They were beekeepers.
They had like so it must have been a remainder, but yeah, we told our attorney, we're like, those have to go. Things to remove: the chickens, the greenhouse, and the bees. And she's like, the bees? She's like,
Bees?
what do you mean the bee? Like, we can't get rid of bees. I'm like, no. They have bee like boxes. Like, she's like beekeeping? Like, yeah, like beekeeping.
Yes.
You need those out now.
Yes.
I ain't dealing with that.
We want the bees to survive for the greater health of humanity, but these bees need to be off our property.
They can live somewhere else. They're not making their home in our backyard. Yeah, that was about it. And I think we have bunny rabbits in the yard because there's footprints in the snow, but we can't really tell. So like every morning you look out there and it's like these bunnies must be high because these tracks cross again. They must be completely lost.
Or it's different times of the day, or
are
you dusting the tracks over?
there was fresh snow overnight. I was up, and then when I woke up in the morning, it was new. So it was that's why I'm afraid we haven't let Callie out in the yard yet. But mainly because the fence with the snow, it kind of lifted the fence. I don't want her to escape, but I'm more worried now she's just going to come back with a dead rabbit at her feet. And it's like, here,
I would like that. I would like this stewed, please. Thank you.
For
That's
the
all right.
record,
One time,
she has killed a bunny before, so this wouldn't be new territory for her.
but at least it's a doggish behavior.
True.
One time, you know
She's a
what Bagel
beagle.
did? You know what Bagel did in our bedroom? Decapitated a mouse and brought it to us.
That's
Look.
dog things to do. That's dog things to do.
Is it?
Yeah.
He's not a cat. That's a cat behavior. I mean, great. I was like, this is the most Ozzy Osbourne thing you could have done, Bagel.
I mean,
and I kind of respect it, but also
dogs do weird things. Like I've seen Callie, she seems lazy, but I've seen her catch a cicada in midair. That's reflex.
She's thrown you for every time she does that. She's like, "That's right, man."
But I'm all
Right.
for that because cicadas, they gotta go.
and
So if she catches them,
Reba just reminded me of another gross detail. Bagel was sucking on the head like it was a shrimp. Jason,
I'm so
likes
glad
that
my
one.
dogs are underachievers compared to your guys'. My dogs have never done any of that. We had one dog that used to snap at flies, but she was completely blind, so completely useless at it.
Oh, Bagel
But
eats
otherwise-
bugs. He eats bugs. He
No,
goes after spiders.
no, like when Callie caught the cicada, she turned into that kid from Toy Story. She was like playing with it, like pulling it apart. Like it's like, oh god, this dog's gonna get a magnifying glass and just. But yes, that was my weekend. How was yours, Matt?
Well, weekend was not great. I have an uncle whose health has taken a sharp turn for the worst. And at this point, I don't expect him to survive the week. And that really sucks because he's my Uncle Matthew, and he's a wonderful guy, very nice. And I wish I could be there with the family, but I can't. And it sucks. But continuing the bad trend, but definitely a more positive note. I missed last week because we had to take Bagel to the emergency room. And Bagel ended up having to stay in the hospital overnight. But the next morning, I'm not going to go into the details because it's kind of gross compared to what we've already talked about. But he spent the night in the hospital, and when the doctor called us the next morning, she was like, well, when I saw him this morning, when I rounded with him this morning, he perked up like he knew me, and he was like wagging his tail, and when I sat down next to him, he jumped into my lap, and I'm like, okay. And then I was just waiting for her to say Bagel can come home, and sure enough, she said Bagel could come home, and Bagel has been home with us ever since. And he's finally back to normal now. It was some GI stuff, so we just kind of had to have him. We had to monitor him over the week, but my mother-in-law, Reba's mom, stayed with us Tuesday she wanted to stay till Thursday, but your boy is super smart because he wanted to be nice and get out and like move the cars and deal with the snow, but he took mother-in-law's keys to work, and mother-in-law was stuck for another night. I'm gonna. I mean, it was fine. She was just like,
You
okay,
should
I'll
be
just do my
like, when she realized it, you should be like, you should take this as a compliment. It just means that I subconsciously want you to stay. So I like you.
Oh no, Diane knows I love her. Diane knows I love her. But I'm getting to the best part is I want to do this last week, but Bagel. But we ended up having the boys over 2 weekends ago, and Smash happened.
Yeah.
It went really well. Reba, Gabe, Zach, and I all played, and it got to the point where there was no one was first every time, but Reba seemed to always be second, which is kind of scary.
Consistent.
Yeah, super
not
consistent.
last.
Yeah,
If y'all getting chased by bears, she ain't getting eaten.
Okay, that's one.
No, that's always the joke. Like when like people are talking about like
You don't have to outrun.
I guess it's a corporate joke because they talk about productivity and they're like,
that's
I don't have to be
definitely
the fastest person. You know, it's like when you're getting chased by bears, you don't have to be the fastest person. You just don't want to be last.
Yeah. So Moose said it's consistent, and if we're ever being chased by bears, you are not getting eaten. So, yay. But then the fabled Matt versus Zach smash 1-on-1 happened, and I lost.
I was gonna say. But see, it's like the build up here. I feel like this is going to be the build up of the story.
I did not get killed. Like I did not get, but it was 1-1, and Zach's final win was off an accidental mistake by me because that's just how my life is. But he ended up +1 and I ended up -1 because that's how Smash scores. So on my screen, Moose and Michaela are next to each other, and he just did this, and Michaela nodded at the perfect time, like he just whispered off the screen through space and time to Michaela, and that was what. But yeah, she heard you. I didn't.
We communicate on another level.
I mean, fair, but
it's the fuck you, Jason level.
Wow.
But so Zach ended up saying, he's like, okay, you're really good at Smash now. And I said, thank you, Zach. Next time you're getting beat, so be ready. He's like, what? He's like, well, I clearly have to practice. And I'm like, okay, I will take that as a respectful defeat on the road to a victory. But when we introduce them to Guilty Gear is what I'll talk about when we actually talk about games, because otherwise I'm just going to go on for way too long. So before we actually get to games, I want to open up a new segment on Story Route Zero where we basically, if there were a video game version of Festivus, Jason is going to be the poll, and we are going to shout our grievances at him.
Yes. Yes.
This is the first, hopefully, weekly installment of Fuck You, Jason. Michaela, do you have any grievances for Mr. Marshall?
I will next week.
Next week, okay. We're gonna have 2 in a row. All right. Moose, I've talked a lot. You talk for a little bit.
Every goddamn time he makes a noise about anything, it turns out to be a game, and then it's like,
what was it this week for you, Moose?
Oh, see, that's what I was looking up. I can't remember that's the problem. There's so many games. It's like I can't even remember.
Well, I know I know one of them is the one that I picked up because of that asshole.
Oh yeah, Undermine. I bought
Undermine. What the fuck, Jason? Why are you doing this to me? It's great. It's fucking awesome.
You say this is, it's a problem. It's a complete and utter problem. I think the one he said something about
Curse of the Dead Gods.
Yeah, Curse of the Dead Gods. So he sits there and he's like,
"Oh, I'm glad I didn't look at that one, you asshole."
I said no. What I said was,
here's what he said.
I said, "Why is it that I can't pre-order on the Switch and Nintendo has it listed?" And Moose goes, "What are you pre-ordering? Am I going to be annoyed at you?"
No, I said, "Am I going to hate you?" I didn't say,
"Or am I going to hate you?"
Am I going to hate you? And then he said what the game was, and I went and looked at it. I was like, oh, yes, I remember looking at this game, and it looks entertaining.
Like, thanks for the reminder.
I was like, thank you for the reminder. It's on the... I think when I went back and looked at it after you said something, for some reason, I didn't put it on the wish list, so now it's on the wish list. But, yeah, it's always like, I'm playing this game. This game's pretty good. Like, I love his reviews. And some of them, I'm like, I know I'm really gonna like that game, so I'm not gonna read that review until I'm ready to buy that game because I'm gonna want it like right after I read it. So, Except for Morbid, because I already got the signature edition. Like
I am going to submit the first piece of evidence against Jason in this one. So Jason in our little Discord group chat
right.
said, so Matt, but he had tagged my name, infinite_rewind. Initial thoughts on Undermine. Do you hate me or do you in all caps hate me? My response, fuck you, asshole. Jason, yes. Moose, haha, god damn it. I shall resist. And then me, and also that rock mimic can eat 15 asses. For the life of me, I cannot remember to fucking jump. Jesus Christ. But that game is pretty fun. You fucking prick. Happy Friday.
And then like 2 hours later, Moose types sigh, and there's a screenshot.
No, wait, I'm not done yet. The conversation. Yes, from Jason. Yes, jumping is a strange concept in a game like this. It's still weird to me, and I have 30 plus hours in the PC version. Every so often, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a thing here, and that's my piece of evidence. And then a couple hours later, what did Moose submit? A screenshot of him downloading Undermine.
Yep, right there. Listen, oh god, man, this freaking background's trash.
It's flickering in and out of space.
Yeah, it's the screenshot, but y'all get the point.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, not that I didn't want to get the game. It's just like, it's like one more thing to add to the list. But when we talk about games, there's some exciting news, so that makes room for more games. Anyway.
Cool. So that's our first weekly tying Jason to the Festivus pole and bashing his head in with a shovel. What have you been playing, Michaela?
What have I been playing? So I hopped around last week, which is unusual for me. Like I said, I am between finishing East 9 and waiting for Persona tomorrow and then Bravely on Friday. So at the beginning of the week, obviously, I was still dealing with East 9, put my review up on the Tuesday. And then after that, I immediately dove into the Project Triangle strategy demo, and I played that through twice because there are two routes. What?
Thoughts?
Thoughts. I have many thoughts.
Okay. Because I want to hear them because I haven't tried the demo yet. And I love Octopath Traveler, and it just looks like they're going to do a really good job with turn-based strategy.
This is the same people, right?
Same people. It's the same people.
It was just pointed out to me that it is PTSD. Project Triangle Strategy Demo.
Okay. Moving on. But yeah, so Project Triangle Strategy is from the people who did Octopath and Bravely.
That's really good, by the way. Just saying.
No, it's not. It's in the Octopath engine. So they're calling this their HD 2D series. That's how they're connecting these games. They're completely independent story-wise. They're in different gameplay genres. Octopath is a more traditional turn-based JRPG, and obviously Triangle Strategy is a tactics or SRPG. So it looks like Octopath Traveler. It plays like Final Fantasy Tactics, and it's got a politically dense plot like Final Fantasy XII's. And weirdly enough, the demo starts you in chapters 6 and 7. So you play through chapters 6 and 7 of the game. Weird.
Are they trying to be Quentin Tarantino out here?
I don't fucking know. They literally preface the demo with like, it's okay if you don't understand everything that's happening in the story, because we're just throwing you in the middle of this game. And they give you like an overview of what's going on in the game so that you have like at least a chance of understanding the story. But basically, it's Fire Emblem Three Houses in pixel art. There's 3 kingdoms that are basically on the brink of war, and so it just takes one thing to shove them into Fallout War. So one kingdom invades another, slaughters the ruling family. They're all competing for control of resources. There's like one kingdom is in control of salt, another kingdom has a monopoly on iron, etc. So the one thing about the story is there are a lot of non-gameplay dialogue only cutscene parts of the demo. So one of my concerns is, will there be a balance between gameplay and story? Will it have good pacing? Will it feel even in the full game? Again, this is just a demo, and they try to like squeeze a lot of story in at you because they start you off in the middle of the game. That's why it was kind of a weird.
Your interest.
Yeah. I do sincerely hope there is a Japanese audio option in the full release game, because I wasn't digging the English voices. They might have been placeholders even. The voice acting wasn't particularly good. And it's one of those JRPGs where it goes for like the ye old a little bit, like the thus and the thine and the nobody really talks
That
like
one
that
character in
anymore.
Octopath Traveler that everyone hated because it's spoken in ye old English.
Yeah. But
Was
I
it the
think
hunter, right? It was the hunter.
Hark,
I loved
have
Haunted.
arrived.
I love Haunted, though. But she talked weird on purpose. It was to set her tribe apart. This is everybody in the whole game. I do hope there's Japanese audio. I feel like Octopath had Japanese audio because I feel like I played it in Japanese. I didn't play it with the English voices. Because I do remember making fun of Ophelia doing the very traditional anime girl. What does she want?
Yeah, right. Oh my god. I'm very interested in this, even though I bounced off Octopath. I think I got 2 or 3 chapters in, and then I'm just like, oh,
it's not gonna play like Octopath. It's
no, I know,
the same
no, I
visual
know,
engine.
I know.
It's also got the banging music though, so it looks
It
like
does.
Octopath and it sounds like Octopath. It's got good music, at least from what I can tell for the 5 hours that I was playing it. But the gameplay is obviously the biggest draw besides the, oh my god, it looks like Octopath. So once you get past the visual, the biggest draw is it's a tactics game from Square Enix, which we have not seen in a very long time. And it's one of those traditional grid-based, turn-based SRPG battle systems where terrain affects your character. So like you have some attacks that work better if you're on higher elevation than the person
Well,
you're
obviously,
attacking.
because you have the high ground. Duh.
Yes.
I mean, Ernest taught us about the high ground.
Yeah, but you can also, like, magic users can affect the environment. So, like, you could set certain squares of the grid on fire, or you could slick it with ice or block it with ice entirely and stuff like that. So the terrain matters, your placement matters. And there's general weaknesses, stuff like some units are weak to fire or just magic in general, or they're really strong against melee attacks, or they're weak to ranged attacks or whatever. And then you've got all the different classes. You've got mounted units, you've got swords, you've got arrows, you've got fire mages, you've got support cast type mage characters, all that stuff. You've got like your thief who can turn invisible for parts of their turn so that they won't get targeted by enemies, which is really useful. I loved that ability in the demo. I spammed the shit out of it. But one of the cool things that sets this SRPG a little bit apart from some others is, as you would expect, attacking an enemy from behind does extra damage. Great. But if you sandwich an enemy, so if you place a character on either side of them, if one attacks from one side, it will trigger a support attack from the other, and you'll bounce them between you. It's kind of great, and you'll do.
Oh, it's like Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
Good old pincer attacks.
Yep. Yeah. So you've got backstabs, you've got pincers, and also that yields kudos, which you can use. So when you do that type of attack, you get kudos, which after the battle you can use to spend on new abilities for your characters and stuff like that. So it's all a very cohesive system. It's a really, really, really good, potentially very challenging JRPG battle system. I actually had, like, it was a decent challenge. Again, they are starting you in the middle of the game. But I liked it a lot. I did have some characters die, but there doesn't seem to be permadeath, at least in the demo. But I think the way that the story is built, that this game won't necessarily be the kind of SRPG that's going to have permadeath, even though it is very common in the genre. Yeah. Because some of the characters are so integral to the story, and the story already has to adapt enough, because the big thing about this SRPG that they're really pushing is that it's all about choice-based procedural narrative. So no two playthroughs will be alike. So the biggest choices that you make occur in these things called the voting scenes. So there's one in the demo where you come to a point in the story, you have to make a decision about which path you're going to go down. You can either hand over your friend to the invaders in order to protect your homeland from getting attacked by them in their attempts to take him from you. Or you can try and protect him and deal with the incoming attack that's going to happen on your home soil, and it's going to potentially destroy your people's houses and stuff like that. So you have to choose whether or not to hand Roland over. On top of that, every character in your party has their own AI and is going to vote how they want to vote, but you can gather information and try to persuade them to vote the way that you want to do, but you can and will fail to persuade some characters. Although both times I played, I was able, even though I didn't convince everybody, I was able to get the general outcome of the vote that I wanted to get. And when you pick one of those options to either protect Roland or to hand him over, you get two completely different chapter 7s. You either get attacked by the bad guys in the protagonist's hometown, and you do a battle on your own soil where you have to choose whether to try
Home field advantage, go for it.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. You can either try to white knuckle them, or you can set your own people's houses on fire and the invaders along with it. And that's another choice that affects
dirt policy.
Yes,
Home
for
field
sure.
war crime? I mean,
Yep. Or if you hand Roland over, he becomes a political puppet prisoner who is used to incite violence in a different area of the country. And somebody who would have allied themselves with you had you protected Roland becomes the person you have to fight instead of the invaders. So you have to go fight a completely different battle on a completely different map with different conditions and a different like boss character. And
sounds like the beginning of Gundam. I am in.
It affects the progression of the plot. It affects how other characters view you. And it also affects, your choices will affect who shows up in between battles as potential new characters to recruit for your overall roster. So there's a lot of choice-based things that they need to anticipate in the narrative. And I think adding permadeath of certain characters on top of that would be almost too much, too complex to manage. But they have a big project. So what kind of the ultimate point of the article I wrote is that this is a very ambitious game with a lot of elements that if they nail it, is just going to make a lot of fans of Final Fantasy, Octopath, and strategy tactical RPGs in general super, super happy. But choice-based gameplay can go very wrong. It can come off superficial. It's not always implemented well, but if they do pull it off, it makes an incredibly memorable experience. So risk reward on that. They're following up Octopath, but in a different genre. And that particular genre, SRPGs, doesn't have a huge buying audience compared to even other JRPGs. So there's risk reward on that. There's a lot of.
I would say that it's even worse on consoles. Because mostly, like.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. It depends on like Fire Emblem is an exception to the rule, maybe, I guess.
Well, there's your Fire Emblems, there's your XComs, there's your Valkyria Chronicles.
Doesn't sell well at all.
Right.
No
but
matter
like,
where.
but like, I mean,
Sadly.
these aren't. Yeah, you're right. These aren't the they release in their instant game of the year status.
They're not. I'm not even just talking revenue.
Right, but like, I think it's probably a bit more hamstrung just because it's on the Switch. Not power or anything like that, because I don't know anything about that. But I do know that the niche of strategy RPGs is predominantly PC. And those folks very rarely step into the console space.
Those are more Western strategy RPGs, though, I will say that. Not so much the Japanese market.
I mean, yeah, you'll know more about that than I will.
Yeah, because the Japanese are like the main ones are your things like ranging from Fire Emblem to Valkyria Chronicles, the biggest to the smallest, pretty much. And those do tend to be on console more than anything else. Whereas you've got like your divinities and whatnot. There's so many SRPGs on PC that are also on console, but that's almost like an afterthought for them. But yes, so I played that demo through both routes that you can take. I very much enjoyed it. I am very excited for it. It is then slotted into my top 10 most anticipated games. Looking to come out next year. We'll see if they deliver. That would put them at about 4 years after Octopath, so a decent dev cycle there. But they're also the same people who work on Bravely, so lots of ambitious projects overlapping.
How long is this demo just available now?
Yeah, I don't
Or-
know if
or
there's
is
a
it going away?
deadline on it.
Okay.
They just said available today after the direct, and they didn't say when it's coming down. I just got the link for the survey today. I took the survey because they did ask if you played the demo. Obviously, give your feedback. So that just started going out today.
So your answer was like, this game is so fucking cool, but guys. Never mind. I was going somewhere else with that. Never mind. I'll stop. What else you got? Anything?
Yes. So I did East. I did Project Triangle. I did Game Club. Played the whole thing in 2 sittings. Played Game Club game for next week. Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God. Next Monday is March. Jesus.
I'm ready.
And Friday night.
Wake me up when September ends. Am I right? No. Continue.
Yeah. Friday night, I fixed my fucking Neo 2 Platinum for the Neo 2
Yay!
Remaster on
Yay!
PS5.
Cheers. Cheers to that.
Thank
My
you.
wine's empty, but yay.
Thank you. I fixed it. It was bothering me so much. It only took like a few hours. I had to replay, I want to say like 8 missions. And I had to do stuff like kill both Gozuki and Mizuki in the same mission, or drive back every Tatar and Moki in this mission, or ring all the bells in that mission, or find all the butterflies in this mission, etc. So I had to do like 8 or 9 of those, and I just banged it all out in one sitting. Friday night. I freaked out a little bit when I started. It's been almost a year since I played, so I felt a little stupid at first. I was like, what are the buttons? Please help. I had a little bit of a paralysis moment.
Save me, baby Jesus.
And so I
Walk
just
in like, yeah, I've done this before. I'm gonna get, oh crap, an enemy. How do I fight?
I remember there were controls, but what I didn't remember was the specific abilities I had unlocked for the weapons that I was using on that character. So I was using Tonfa as my main weapon on my character at the end of the. So that save file, I had originally been doing Odachi and the dual hatchets, and then I moved to Tonfa instead of the dual hatchets because I wasn't vibing with the hatchets. And then when I got to the end game, I started letting myself go back to my dual swords. I was a dual swords main in Neo 1. That's what I was known for on Twitch. I was a dual swords player. So what I just did to make my life a little bit easier and ease back into things, I ended up finishing the platinum with the Tonfa equipped, but I started the night going back to my dual swords because I can do that just by like rote memorization. I remember like that's built into me at this point. So, but I did have like a little panic moment. I was like, what the fuck are the buttons? Yeah. And I died to the first challenge the first time by accident. I didn't know what I was doing. But I have re-platinumed the upgraded version of Neo 2 on my PS5. And
congratulations.
Thank you. I actually hit another milestone this weekend, little baby milestone. So I am coming up on 4 years with a PS4. That was technically my 20th platinum, and I now have over 2,000 trophies.
Congratulations.
Little baby milestones.
Hey, that's, milestones are milestones. Be happy when you pass them. Like,
I actually have 2020 trophies as of today, after I beat foul play before this.
Well, you just need one more trophy, and then
like
you have
a terrible number. I have 2020 trophies.
One more, and then you're done.
Yep.
And I have to stop for the rest of the year.
Done. Yeah, I remember going back for the Neo Platinum. I'm just like, how do I fight? And then I think at the time when I had left Neo, I had finished maxing out the Tonfas. But then when I went back and I was like, you know what? I'm going back to the Odachi because that's what I did most of the heavy lifting on in this game. And then I basically had to figure out how to remap everything because those skill trees are good, but also they're very deep. And eventually I figured out, I'm like, okay, so I can play this way now. I'm glad I don't have to worry about weapons anymore. But Neo 2 is on my list for 2021. Let's hope
Neo
I get
2 is such a good game. When one last thing I'll say about it is when I was finishing it, so like the last mission I had to redo, what is called Cherry Blossom Viewing. It's one of the last main missions before you hit the epilogue. And when I was in that level and I had to fight these guys, there's 7 spear wielding like mini boss characters that you have to kill. When I was in that level, I remembered, it's something that I almost forget. Everybody thinks of Nioh as like, oh, that Souls-like game, or it's got a really, really great combat system, super deep combat system, very challenging. One thing I forget to talk about, or even forget just for myself, is it's such a fucking beautiful game. Beautiful fucking game. And especially that particular level, the music is one of my favorite tracks in the whole game. I don't know if you want to look it up, just look up the Cherry Blossom viewing in Daigo level. The music in that fucking level is so epically amazing and just like mood achieved. And then of course the whole level is covered in those like cherry blossom, sakura blossom, but almost like a muted version. It's not like a bright floral pink. It's like almost like an appropriate for Nioh style.
Right. It's not Ghost of Tsushima where the color palette is vibrant.
Yeah. No. But you've got the cherry blossom trees everywhere, and you've also got these massive Amrita stones everywhere. So you've got the muted sakura blossoms with the big yellow orange like demon stones everywhere. It's fucking gorgeous. Fucking gorgeous level. And that's all I played last week.
Cool. Moose, how about you?
Platinum Division 2 and deleted it.
GG, my friend. GG. I'm proud of you.
So
Let's see if this deletion sticks. Had to.
So what the heck were we doing? It was last week, and we were just sitting around, and I was talking with Jeff about it. And I'm like, man, one Saturday, because usually like Jeff and I have a routine where it's like we'll just get up, and if he's at home, I'm at home. We'll just get coffee and just sit in a PSN party playing some games and chatting with each other while we drink our coffee. And I was like, one Saturday or Sunday, we need to get up and just do the trophies. We had PvP. So basically like the actual PvP gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
And we also had the Dark Zone trophies to do. And he was like, yeah, that'd be fine. And so I don't know what the heck we were doing last week, but it was just like, let's try it. I was like, let's just get in there and try and see what we could do. And so it was like working. Like we were just going and started like attempting to wrap up the trophies. My problem with the Dark Zone is I feel like the Dark Zone is like unbalanced. I feel like even especially if you're starting out, I feel like the game should have like a way to detect if you've ever set foot in the Dark Zone. Because if you haven't, you shouldn't be in the Dark Zone with guys or players that have been in it all the time.
Like that's all they do.
That's all they do. And then like, cause like I was unloading on people and it was like 2 shots and I'm dead. And I'm like, well, this is not fair. And you know, it's like, I don't want to play this. This is why the Dark Zone does not succeed, is because of that, you know? And so I just feel like they can implement more of a PvP type thing from like World of Warcraft with Battlegrounds or something like that. Or they can just refine the Dark Zone and make it to where it's like tiered, to where you can like work up to a tier and get it. And then like the only people in the Dark Zone are the top tier people instead of you just coming around and ganking people. But anyways, so we were working through that, and can't remember the night I got it. I think it was like Tuesday or Wednesday. And then Jeff was stuck with he had to win a PvP round. And I was like, just go. I was like, if we go in together, that's 2 weak legs for a 4-man team to stand on. So I was just like, you need to go in by yourself and maybe get on a winning team.
That's what I did. That's exactly
that's what I did too. And I told him it's not because we're bad at the game, it's because everybody else is so good at it. You can go in and kind of be the weaker link and kind of hold your own, but they'll like carry you. Whereas in like, I can't help carry you because I'm not built for PvP. My character is built for PvE. And that was my other thing. Like, I feel like if they're going to do a Division 3, like there needs to be like World of Warcraft, and I'm going to reference this because everybody wants to make an MMO like Destiny 2 and Division 2. You need to have PvE specific gear and PvP specific gear. That's what you need. Like I would have to put on my PvP gear to go into the Dark Zone, or PvE gear to go fight, like go do a raid or something. So I feel like that's where there's a lot of refinement that they could do to the game to make it more well balanced. But anyways, so he went in and was able to get it. I think he got it like Thursday or Friday. And then he asked me, he's like, I still have the Coney Island trophies. So basically what they did was they released the game in the platinum, and then they did the raids, and then they started adding like extra content that added trophies to it. And they're not hard to get. You just have to beat each level that they added for each DLC. And I sent back to him, and I said just delete it. I said with the news that they're coming out with more stuff, more content in the fall, I said if we decide we want to go back to it, I said we'll just do those trophies then. And if not, we'll just jump back in and do it quick, or he can do it quick himself or whatever, And so he did.
I think I did some of that, some of or all of it with you or someone else, but it was not hard. Like I think I had to do those missions for like manhunts, and I couldn't do them for the manhunts until I beat them the first time. And once you beat them the first time, you get the trophy.
Yeah.
So
it's yeah, he could totally handle it. I know he could. It's just the fact that like it's something you want to like play with friends and whatnot. So it'll be. I also deleted it because I was turned off by the end of the season, which was basically hunting down one of your former people that turns traitor on you, and then it like wasn't even a memorable fight. There was no like cutscene afterwards to kind of like put, to close the book on that. So I was kind of like pissed about that. But then it's like you see that they're coming out with DLC like later this year, and it's like, well, that's probably why they didn't really put an effort into that cutscene, which they should have just gave us a cutscene to end it and could have left it hanging, and we could have been like, well, are they going to do something new? We don't know. And then, you see the tweet and it's like, oh yeah, okay, there's going to be content. So I feel like that kind of screwed us. But so I was just like, I don't want to play this, for a while. And, Jeff was on the same page, and then we both fired up Breakpoint. So we jumped right from Division 2 into Breakpoint. And so I feel like what's really weird, what's different from Breakpoint than Wildlands, because we played Wildlands. Jason did as well. Not as much with me and Jeff as Jeff and I have played, but we had our fun, and we all have the platinum. But Wildlands is different because you have quote unquote classes that get like certain stats. So basically my class is called the assault class. So my assault rifle and my shotgun do more damage, and then I have a skill where I do extra damage. And then the kills that I do with the damage I'm dealing keep the skill going. And then Jeff is specifically a sharpshooter. So he's not an up close and personal type person. And he's like, I don't even know if we could play co-op. He's like, because you're going to be going in there guns blazing. He's like, I'm the guy that's like picking people off from afar. I said, we could still do it. And so we co-opted a bunch of missions and had a blast. And I'm looking forward to playing more. And then they just announced that they're going to have more content this year, which is awesome. They said they had a surprisingly large amount of returning players to do the Rainbow Six / Breakpoint crossover. Amber Skies, I think it was called, was the neuron toxin that was released on the island, and then you had to do that event and follow missions, and so they're looking to add more content to it, which I'm fine with that. It's a fun game. And so we did a bunch of the main story quests because I was like, I need to work on that. I was level 20 and my gear score was like over 100, and I hadn't done a main mission yet. So I was like, I need to do some story stuff for this. So I've been playing that. Helping Razzie get his platinum in Bloodborne, which he got last night. So congratulations to Razzie. Got his platinum in Bloodborne, and I apparently have signed up to help our friend Ozzy get the platinum in Bloodborne, which is not a problem. I mean, he's good at he could do it by himself, but I was like, I'm here. I have the chalices down. Let's go, And so it's just working out our schedule, but because he works like 3 to 11 at night, and so it's pretty much weekends. But anyway, so did that, and then on the Switch, I played some more of Blue Fire, which I'm enjoying. I didn't make it too much further than where I was the last time, but I'm getting back into it and getting into the swing of things and earning, like, quote unquote, the souls to get into new areas, because there's a dickhead that runs the elevators. Well, he's basically an engineer, and he's like, oh, I can repair these elevators. And you go up and talk to me, he's like, I'll take 2,400, whatever the currency is, and I'll fix the elevator now, or you could go up the elevator and pay me twice later. And I was like, I know that trick. And went around and I just farmed until I could pay to use the elevator without having to pay double later. And so game's fun, still enjoying it. Highly recommend checking it out. Watch some videos or whatever and see if it'd be up your alley. And then I also picked up Undermine, which I have been looking at, and then Jason just happened to mention it, and so I bought it. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. I, unlike Matt, do remember there's a jump button. I don't know why you don't remember there's a jump button, but that's okay. Blunt force.
You didn't play near as much Binding of Isaac as I did. There's not a jump button in Binding of Isaac. So. Blunt
force trauma.
Yeah.
So been playing that and Grand Theft Auto. So well, here's the thing. So a friend of ours online, and so I was like, I'll play with you. I haven't heard shit from her, which she normally does. She just posts in the Discord and it's like, hey, does anybody have this game? Yeah, I got it. Like, I have Absolver. Never played Absolver with her. I have Grand Theft Auto. Haven't heard from her. So me and TB, Jason, started playing online. And I'm just like, these controls are ass backwards. Like, they're terrible. Why? Reload is not circle. Reload is square. I can understand run being X, okay? But run should be L3 or circle if you're a Dark Souls player. It should never be X. And so it was just weird trying to deal with the controls and then trying to, like, party out with people. So then we switched to Dark Souls 3 PvP, which was fun. And then he downloaded, for the hype, which will probably be in the news later, but we'll talk about that later, but he downloaded Diablo 3. And I was like, are you starting a new character? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I could start a new character too. So I downloaded that, and that'll probably be talked about next week. But anyways, it was a good week of gaming, I should say. Division 2 is platinum. Which feels like 5 years later.
Well, 2020 was basically 5 years, so it is.
Yeah. I mean, true. True. Jason?
I played a few games.
What are we going to be mad at you for now?
No, I think we're good.
Jason Marshall must play bad games from now on.
Well, I mean, I played some Warcraft, and I'm not convincing any of you to play it. So,
that's true. You're not.
I had correction. Fuck you, because I want to build a PC to play with you.
Well, are we going to play Warcraft 3, or are we going to play Warcraft 2, or are you talking about World of Warcraft?
World of Warcraft.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
After reviewing Habroxia 2, I own Habroxia, so I was like, let me just play that. And I was in a party with Jeff, and 2 hours later, I'm like, oh, hey, I have a platinum.
Nice.
Been playing a lot of Undermine. It's very addicting.
Shit.
It's just,
Yeah.
Shit.
it's like every roguelike that's been out in the past few years. But then it knows it's a roguelike and kind of makes fun of itself.
Yeah.
The way and it's just so addictive. Like, you finish a run and you're like, nah, I want to go again. Nah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go again.
Like I'm getting very much like the Neon Abyss. You know, I could do better.
Are you on the did you beat the first boss yet?
Yeah, I finally I put that rock mimic in the ground.
So, well, yeah, did you beat the but that's the mini boss. Did you beat Okay then.
I didn't know there was a mini boss because the rock mimic has a life bar too.
We're back to fuck you, Jason.
Or are you talking about the sandworm?
Yes.
Okay, I fought the sandworm. I have not beat it. I'm not mad at the sandworm because I got to the sandworm with very little health, and the fact that I got it like 7/8 of the way there, like I was pretty proud of myself. I'm like, you know what? All right, good for me. I mean, eventually I will, and I bet eventually I'll probably grow to hate that thing. But
it's very self-aware, and when you make progress, the NPCs are pretty funny about that. You're not the same because when you die,
oh
you
yeah,
have a different
you're
character, and the NPCs bring it up like you're not the same. Whatever.
yeah.
I've been playing a lot of the demo for Rogue Heroes, which comes out tomorrow or 2 days ago when this goes live. Because
I am afraid to look at this game.
yes, please. You're already at fuck you, Jason, once this week. We don't need
you to go nuclear.
Normally, I wouldn't play a demo this much, but it's got carryover progress.
Oh, so yeah.
So
I was dumb enough not to partake in. I played it and was like, I want to play this game, and was just like, okay.
It also has that addictive nature. You finish and you're like, nah, I want to go a little further. Now I want to go a little.
So what's the elevator pitch on Rogue Heroes then?
So it's Legend of Zelda as a rogue, like NES, or Link to the Past.
So Binding of Isaac.
What?
So Binding of Isaac.
Combat's different, but
okay.
It's pretty
Binding of Isaac is basically the Legend of Zelda, OG Legend of Zelda, but a twin stick shooter.
Yeah.
So this is more like Legend of Zelda. Like, you have a bow, you have bombs.
Okay.
It's like Link to the Past.
Yeah,
with a roguelike
Yeah, but then it's kind of like Moonlighter, where when
why are you doing this to me, Jason? Why are you doing this to me?
Because we love you.
When you return to town, you actually build up your town, which, like, you build, one guy can upgrade your weapons, one guy can upgrade your tools, your health, and then you could also unlock classes.
That's fucking Moonlighter. God damn it.
Moonlighter is like my go-to if I need to convince you. If I could tie it to Moonlighter, it's like 6 degrees of Moonlighter.
I mean, it's true.
I hate you, Jason.
I played the demo and it was a lot of fun. Like,
is demo on Switch or is it only?
Yeah, no, it's on Switch. It's only on Switch and PC currently.
Okay, well, I will play the. I honestly cannot afford to buy a game.
Play the demo and
I should not have bought Undermine, but I did. Because I'm irresponsible. But
the demo, it's got and then when you eventually decide,
it carries over.
Yeah.
That's actually the best selling point on a demo.
Is that it carries over.
As someone who does not like demos,
it tells you what's not in the demo. Like, it literally says, like, when you're on it, it's like not available in demo, so you can only play to a certain point. But you're gonna get a good amount of hours out of the demo because it's one of those things like fuck you, Rock Monster. I need to play like 5-6 hours before I beat it.
Right. Okay.
So the
All right.
demo has legs.
Okay. Oh, all right. Good. All right. You know what? I will.
Oh, you play half hours of tease. You could play like 4 or 5 hours, not beat the demo, and still have plenty to go.
Okay. All right. Cool.
And then the last game I played, don't worry, none of you will be even interested because I don't think any of you really is 30XX released in early access. No.
Don't tell me how to live my life, Jason Marshall.
I've liked the XX games though. Like, I mean, I haven't played any of them. I've watched them a lot. But
For those who don't know, it's basically roguelike Mega Man.
Yeah.
You have a roguelike problem.
I was going to say, for those who don't know, any game he played and has to explain, it's a roguelike.
There was games I played that weren't roguelike.
Yeah, that we hadn't heard of already?
Lies.
Abraxia?
Abraxia is not a roguelike.
Okay.
Sure.
Exception that proves the rule.
World of Warcraft has a roguelike portion.
It does. I was gonna say, don't you even bring WoW up.
Undermine, roguelike.
Yeah.
Rogue Heroes, roguelike.
Dead Cells, roguelike.
I'm
trying to think what else you wrote about recently.
I almost picked up that Prisoners Edition. I still am looking at it.
It dropped to $70.
Yeah, I was this close.
Wait, what is this?
The Dead Cells Prisoners Edition.
Oh no.
So you said that was your last one.
Yeah, I'm good.
For me, so I know Moose spent a decent. I think all of you spent a decent amount of time last week talking about Super Mario 3D World, and that game is great. I'm 6 worlds in. I've gotten all the stars up to the point where I'm at, and
nice.
Yeah, this, like, as much as I loved Odyssey, like, I think the reason I loved Odyssey was because it had been so long since I had played 3D World.
Mario evokes a different feel. Like, I only played a couple levels. You guys have played more, but it's just, you play it and it's a different type of fun. You're just like, it's like Christmas morning, waking up. Like, that, like not every game I mentioned I'm having fun with, but it's that different feeling. Like, it's just like, oh, this is Mario. Like,
there is
Mario game.
There is something that a really good Mario game creates. It creates like a joie de vivre for the player, where it's just fun, and I think Wii U was peak fun Nintendo. Now I know that, like, games that every game has come to not every game has come to Switch, but every game that has gotten varying levels of critical praise. Like Wonderful 101 didn't do so well, but those folks didn't play Wonderful 101 on the Wii U like I did, and for a console that was kind of barren for third-party titles, Wonderful 101 was all right. It was actually really fun, but this particular Mario installment is something that it's something special. Like, even when Reba and I have co-opted it, like, I always look at her to see if I can gauge, like, where she's at during play, and never during this game has she not been smiling.
Yeah.
Like either like I'll do something stupid and she'll laugh, or she'll just be running around as a cat and be like, man, this is awesome. I'm a fucking cat. And then, she's like, wait a minute, when they jump and they do the claw thing, they meow, don't they? I'm like, yeah, they do. It is. And I remember in our Discord, I was talking about playing the Bowser's Fury thing. I did not this week because I wanted to play more Hitman. But 3D World is wonderful. It is a constant dopamine shot right to the freaking artery that goes straight to your heart and your head. I love it so much.
Oh, I just want to echo like what I said last week. Where like I just sat there and was just like laughing while I was playing it, not like at the game because whatever, but just like a giddy laugh, like haha, it's like, oh, that's so awesome, like or
Right?
cute or like whatever. You're just like
Uh-huh.
playing and like it just was a natural reaction, and I was like, yeah, I feel like some of us were old enough to be there when we played the first Mario on a console, and it kind of evokes that. And so like because it's got the 2D part of it, even though it's 3D, and so it kind of does a good mix of it. And so like I never played it when it came out on Wii U, whatever. Yeah, I never played it, and because like I said last week, the last 3D game I played before trying Odyssey was 64, maybe, I think. Yeah.
Did you play Galaxy on Wii at all or no?
No, never played Galaxy or Galaxy 2. And so then that was like my first coming back to like Mario. And so it's a nice mixture of both, I feel. And it's just got the nostalgia because you're like just run, 2D. 2D's,
like when you get Mario to run full speed and then stop and he's like still moving, but you already know you're turning and it just feels natural, like climbing the tree and flipping, and you're like, it's not new, even though it is to you. It's just like it's like riding a bike, and you just like you laugh, but you're laughing like you're giggling like at the concept, not like that this is actually a funny thing. It's just
Yeah, but if you keep at it, getting through 3D World again, I think I'm going to do what Moose said last week. I'm going to get through 3D World before I do Bowser's Fury. But just I love how inventive this game is with 3D platforming, and I also appreciate that they don't hold on to mechanics for too long. Like I think they hold on to the cat suit the entire time because that's probably the one thing that will sort of get through just about. I mean, it makes sense like for the game. I don't really know. I know there's a word for that, but I don't know what it is at this point in time. But they take and try and blatantly just discard entire mechanics and ideas where, I would say a lesser developer would do a whole game around their discarded mechanics, and that game would be good. But the fact that, they were really swinging at the fences to try and get the Wii U a hit and to try and bring people in. And it's almost sad that they didn't, but also like, at least they sort of had the wherewithal to say, you know what, this one's a good one and people still need to play it. I'm excited to try Bowser's Fury. I've heard nothing but interesting things about it, even though it also seems like a testing ground for a new Mario idea that they're doing. Which anything they put out with Mario is probably going to be at the very least interesting. It might not set the world on fire, but you're going to look at it and go, huh, that's kind of cool. And Koji Kondo's music 3D World's music is great. It is right up there with Galaxy. It's right up there with 64. It's right up there with some of his most iconic Mario scores. I want to get back to the playing Guilty Gear with the twins because it was funny to watch Reba and I try and be fighter players, I'll say it, because all four of us, when we were playing Guilty Gear, we button mashed the entire time. None of us have really looked at characters. None of us have looked into like how to actually play the game. We're just like, just pick up the controller, hit some buttons, and see what happens. And Zach, he went on like a 7-match win streak. Like he beat all of us twice. He eventually got beat by his brother Gabe, which was hilarious, because of the two of them, Gabe is the one like, yeah, I just play games to have fun. When I'm Smash, I'm Kirby because Kirby's fun. and God love him for that. But those two were like, is because all they have is like, I think they might have a PS5, but it's at their dad's house. I know they have an Xbox. I don't know which one at their mom's. But they were like, is this on Switch? I'm like, I don't think so. I think they only have older Guilty Gear games on Switch. But look at those. Those are probably still fun. You'll probably find, I mean, they won't look as cool, but they'll probably be just as fun. But it was really cool to have the entire house just, going after each other and fighting games. That was genuinely a good time, and I've spent a lot of this past week looking at Guilty Gear Strive videos because that's going to come out in April. I'm already pissed off at it because every character I like is not in it, and my friend Julian says, yeah, they do that. They just take characters out of games, and I'm like, why though? and he's like, I don't know, that's just what they do. But Rebo is pissed because her character's not in it, and like the 3 I really like aren't in it. So, but there's still 5 characters to announce for DLC, so maybe. But there's also an entire roster of characters that they do need to bring back for another game. So it wouldn't surprise me if they brought them back in lieu of picking some of my faves from that Guilty Gear. I also played a lot of Hitman. I played a lot of Undermine. Fuck you, Jason. That game is really good. I think more so than any non-turn-based roguelike, except Crypt of the Necrodancer, does this present itself as a strategy game? And I think that's because early on, all of the enemies sort of telegraph their abilities in a way that I didn't pick up on in games like Binding of Isaac or even Spelunky or any of the other roguelikes I've just attached myself to. I mean, Dead Cells, I didn't really pick up on this either. But every frame of that game tends to be a puzzle, and that puzzle is either solved by combat or actually just moving around. And it has been really grabbing me in that respect, and I'm excited to keep playing it.
So there's Guilty Gear XX Accent Core plus R and Guilty Gear on the Switch.
Yeah, those games are like 20 years old.
I know, but they're on sale.
Yeah, I told them. I think I looked at the store while they were here, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure these games are like 20 years old. But
although Guilty Gear XX still looks good, I will say Guilty Gear is dated. Like you look at it and you're like, the pixelation.
Yeah. I mean, that's a 90s game, but like,
yeah, but XX looks pretty solid.
XX is cool as shit. From what I've looked at, because like I actually thought about picking it up on the Switch until someone mentioned Undermine. But anyway, played. I mean, I've been playing a lot of Hitman lately. I've also been trying to dabble in things that I don't know about, but I'm going to save them for another time because I'm trying to address some of the holes that I have in my play history. Speaking of holes in our play history, I do believe that takes us to our backlog.
Yep. Let the voting begin.
Okay.
Ooh.
I'm going to go first.
Ooh.
For the simple reason that I wanted to address what I had put on my list here. I didn't move out Lords of the Fallen just because it's highlighted. It's fine. We know that one's not up for that's not up for voting. But I put Ease and then in parentheses to ask about this on the show.
I figured this was going to be directed at me.
This is exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm the wise expert here.
Yeah, you got to ask Jason.
Okay, so in the Wise games, I have access to three. I think I have Salsetta, Origin, and Lacrimosa of Dana. So in your smartest opinion, because I know that you sort of know this franchise at least more so than I do. Which one of those would be the best one to start?
I'm going to say it's between Salsetta and East 8, Lacrimosa of Dana. Origin is not a bad game to play, but it is very different from all of the other East games.
Weird how you did this ventriloquist act, Jason. Just saying. I mean, he is the Wise expert, remember? No,
he is. He is. So this is all fake gamer theory coming out my mouth right now. But if I were to say that East Origin is like it's more of like an isometric. I don't believe Adol's in it.
If Adol's not in Lucky's Origins, then
yeah, I have it on the Switch. I picked it up when what's their face Limited Run did a physical. And I haven't played it yet, but that I do know it's very different from the other East installments.
Okay.
Salsetta and 8 are both relatively newer. Like they're in that, so there's like different phases of evolution for the East franchise, and that's where the most recent one started is with Salsetta and 8. Of the two, I would recommend starting with 8. It is a actual full-blown mainline installment in the franchise. Salsetta is a little bit of a shorter game, though, and if you're looking for a pretty short game, it's probably like one of those 20 to 25-hour JRPGs instead of 30 to 35-hour JRPGs.
Okay.
But 8 is a great story. I love Donna. It gives you that full like East mystery, castaway on an island, starts with a shipwreck, classic Adol adventure, while introducing you very, very well to the modern version of the East combat and general gameplay systems, the raid systems in it. So that one's a very good entry point, in my opinion, is 8. It does look a little bit older than it is, so it's a 2016 game, but it originally released on the Vita and then came over to main consoles afterwards. So it looks slightly older than it actually is. You got to keep that in mind when you play it, but otherwise, very good entry point, I believe, is East 8.
Cool. Okay, so I'll just, so my list is as follows.
Oh God, we're gonna read them off.
No, we don't have to.
No, it's Rebel Galaxy, N++, Dust and Elysian Tale, Pikmin 3 Deluxe, Talos Principle, Sundered, This War of Mine, Titan Souls, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and Ease
8. Tokyo Mirage Sessions, that's the FE one, right? On Switch?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
I vote The Surge.
Okay.
I'm torn between two.
What two?
The last two, Tokyo Mirage Sessions and Ease 8.
Okay. Moose?
The Surge.
I've been outvoted.
I guess I'll play The Surge. I was kind of hoping for a JRPG because I've been kind of wanting to just do JRPGs this year, but yeah, I'll do The Surge.
Oh crap!
I picked The Surge because how you felt about Lords of the Fallen. I want to see what your thoughts on The Surge are now. I want it to
be done.
Michaela. My vote, Watch Dogs Legion.
Which was your vote last month.
Yeah, I'm going to still vote for it. Let's pick, damn it.
I knew that was going to be it, though.
Moose, you pick before I do. We're having trouble here.
they're all so good, so I don't feel like we could like. You can't go wrong with any of them. So I'm gonna double down on Jason's vote again and say Watch Dogs Legion.
Okay, so my vote doesn't matter.
I'm sorry.
I would like to know what it would have been anyways.
Honestly, I
stupid.
was gonna go Atelier Ryza again because I don't know anything about those games and I want to hear about them.
I will play it eventually, and I will tell you about it.
And I'm just going to say, I'm going to, when we actually make Michaela's game Ni no Kuni, I actually want to play that with her. So I may just like say, hey, I'm going to call an audible and do Ni no Kuni the month we do Ni no Kunis, because I've only played the beginning of that game and I've not got any further.
I haven't
And I'd
played
like
it
to
at
actually-
all, and I played the beginning of the second one and strongly disliked it. But I've heard very
Okay.
good things about the first one, and I am open to it.
Yeah. Okay. So Watch Dogs Legion it is for
Does that
Michaela
run okay
Christian-
on the PS5 now? I remember there was an issue with that. Is it okay now? Because that's where I would want to play it.
Yep.
Okay.
You didn't put PS5 version on here, so no, I'm kidding.
Fuck you.
So Moose or Marshall, who's next?
Y'all can pick mine. Whatever. I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm picking the same thing I picked last month. Days Gone.
Son of a bitch.
And you want to vote next?
I want him to play Ape Out. I want him to play Ape Out because for some reason I just feel like that is not a very Moose game.
Oh.
Oh,
Mm.
I'm kind of sorry, but I'm gonna double down on Days Gone. I think he will like that one.
All right.
I enjoyed watching Days Gone, but I'm too much of a sissy to have played it. But I have access to it now that it's free.
Yeah.
Fair.
I hear it runs pretty well on the PS5. Jason, have you tried on the PS5 yet? No, not yet.
All right, last but not least,
Hitman. Make him play Hitman.
Yes.
I can't be the only one. Make
Yeah,
him
no,
play Hitman.
no, that's it. It's done.
that's it. That's done. All right, that was easy.
All right. So what
Not
we
even
need
looking
to
at the rest of the list. Make him play it, man.
So what we need on our list, what we need to do is like pick a color that means it's a game that's already been selected and done or might be ongoing.
I was thinking maybe just move the completed ones to the bottom, like Jason did with the messenger when I took it out of my list.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, I could do that too on my own. It's
Yeah, I just highlighted mine, so if they're yellow, you know, I mean, if you want to move them down, go ahead. I'm on a phone, so it'll be.
All right, I'll move it.
But yeah, that's fine. So I am playing the Surge. Michaela is playing Watch Dogs Legion. Moose is playing Days Gone. And Jason is playing Hitman. I'm excited to see what everyone says about their game. I feel like, with the exception of probably, well, actually, Days Gone is probably well inside Moose's comfort zone, but I feel like all y'all others are stepping out, and I like it.
This one's definitely out of my. I don't do sandboxing for shit.
All right.
Now
gonna
what?
be a good time.
Did something happen last week?
Yeah,
Now.
there was no press.
Nothing.
No. Big companies did not talk about games they are going to be putting out anywhere. It's real weird.
Well, it's been over an entire year since the first full Nintendo Direct.
17
Year and a
months.
half.
17 months.
17 months. So they had one.
That's basically a year and a half.
They had a full-on 50-minute Nintendo Direct.
Full frontal Nintendo Direct. In your face.
They announced
Too bad.
a lot, actually.
Yeah, they really did. They also left a shit ton out, which is fucking weird.
Yeah, they did. Started the show off with the reveal of 2 new Super Smash Brothers characters. I'm probably
It's
pronouncing
Pyra and
Pyra
Mithra.
Pyra and Mithra, otherwise known as the Aegis.
Now I
As
think
the
this
what? I'm sorry, nerd. I couldn't hear you.
So Pyra
And I don't mean
Mithra,
that in a bad way. I just was like, like what? Sorry, go
they're
ahead.
known as the Aegis. It's the
What does that mean?
Aegis.
Please tell.
Well, directly translates to shield, but they are blades, which is ironic. So they're
Nothing
blades.
matters because Bagel is on screen.
Oh, Bagels, how did
Look at the boy.
We're so
What a cute sweater.
Yeah, he has a Christmas sweater on because we don't really celebrate that here, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, right? No, that works.
But
Codes
yes,
adorbs.
Bagel is back.
Bagel for Smash.
Bagel for Smash. Yeah.
So yeah, like Jason was
It
saying,
could be
Pyra Mithra,
Waluigi's trophy. It's fine. Anyway, go
they
ahead.
are from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and also Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna, the Golden Country. They are blades. I don't want to get into too spoilery a thing, but they are technically the same person,
Yes.
different personalities.
Yes.
There is also a third form called Numa that I won't get to, but they're all known as the Aegis. They are blades. So the main character, you guys saw him in the direct, his name is Rex. In Xenoblade 2, not the first Xenoblade, all of your party members, there's like a non-blade and a blade, and Pyra and Mithra are the blades for Rex, which is like a living weapon, living ultimate weapon kind of concept. And they're like the strongest of the strong. There's only certain blades as strong as Pyra and Mithra.
Video games.
Video games.
Your games.
They're fucking awesome. They're also ancient as fuck. There's so much Xenoblade lore. The world is so cool. The world has been reduced to like everybody lives on these like titans, just like these walking titans, because there's like no
Is that what the
ground.
dragon
Everything's
is?
a giant. Yeah, that's
Is
what
that
the
what
dragon is.
Is that what Grampus is?
That's what Gramps is. He is he's a smaller one though. He's not like a big continent-sized one, but everything is a cloud sea. So everybody lives on these titans. There's all these blades. Most of the blades are kind of minor. But yeah, no. Super fucking cool. Super fucking bae. I'm so fucking happy. All of the girls in Xenoblade 2 are my baes. I love them all, especially Mithra. Mithra's great.
You said bay, but you forgot to add the last syllable.
Go.
Hey, go.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, go. Hey,
Although
go.
Nia might be my favorite. I also love Morad and Bridget. They're all fucking great. All of them are great. Play Xenoblade 2. Everybody. Now.
Well, I feel like you need to play one first.
They don't.
I played Chronicles X on the Wii or Wii U.
It's one of those things where they're connected in the same universe, but they are distinct plots. Like you can play Nier Automata without playing Nier Gestalt.
Okay. What about Replicant?
Replicant is Nier Gestalt.
Says you.
All right, reeling this back.
All right, yeah.
We got
They're
the
in Smash. It's fucking great.
Right?
Got the announcement of Neon White.
Dude, the guy who made Donut County is basically making anime Ghost Runner but cards.
Okay.
That's best reaction ever.
Published by Annapurna. This is so my shit.
Oh, I know.
What do you think, Bagel? Yeah, that's what he thinks.
Oh,
We got a game that someone is already purchasing, Hades Physical Edition.
I already pre-ordered that. It
Hell
comes out
yeah.
on my birthday. I had to.
yeah.
Ew. Me too.
Mario Golf Speedrun, June 25th.
This game looks dumb and great at the same time.
So I want to say there's a game we're going to mention later on that I thought I would be more excited about, but then this happened. I was
Yeah.
like, that's going to be the game I'm going to be most excited about from the direct, but then it was this game. But anyways, continuing.
Project Triangle Strategy, which we've already talked about. Demos available.
Yeah, demo. Check it out.
They teased Star Wars Hunters without showing
Any gameplay.
If you blinked, you missed it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Switch
I
and
watched
mobile.
that direct 3
Yeah.
times. I didn't see it until the third. I'm like, are they just editing things in? Like, what's going on?
Fall Guys is coming to Switch.
Should have
Honestly,
happened already.
Thought it was already there.
Hyrule Warriors is getting DLC.
Which is cool.
The Ninja Gaiden Collection, June 10th.
Sign me up.
I never played those games.
Me neither, but I'm a Neo fan, so I have to. And that one is not a Switch exclusive. That is coming to PC, Xbox, PS4, 5, and Nintendo Switch on June 10th.
Fun fact, 2 of those games were on Vita.
Okay.
There was 2
Vita
games.
Island.
Famicom Detective Club. I don't remember the names of the individual titles, but there were 2 games announced.
Well, I think these were never brought to the West before.
Yeah,
I think you're right. Like it's a.
It's the first time they're getting localization.
Legend of Mana.
Which looks good.
Mhm.
Good.
Yeah.
Old school.
Stubbs the Zombie.
No clue what that was. But
Yeah,
apparently
that's
so.
like that's one of those things I was like, huh, Stubbs a zombie. All right.
We're
Yeah,
getting
that.
a dodgeball game. Knockout City.
So people are bagging on this. I thought this trailer, I guess you could call it, was funny.
I thought it was funny, and I think if the execution's there, I mean, you can't go wrong with dodgeball. I mean,
Right. I mean, I just like that the orcs going, I like to use several different weapons. Fire sword, sword of doom.
Fire sword of doom.
Yeah.
Larger fire sword of doom.
Yeah, he's just naming. I'm like, this is all right. And then you see him turn into the ball and his teammates throw him around. I'm like, okay. This
Samurai Warriors 5.
It's nice.
Sure. Never played
Twitch
a
is
Muso
suddenly
game.
becoming the home of Muso. It's
We're getting a Me game, Metopia.
Which looks pretty cool. Like, I think it'd be interesting.
These have always kind of creeped me out.
I feel like there's an alternate universe where Miitomo like takes the place of Facebook at some point. That's not this timeline, but I thought the Miiverse was a weird, wonderful thing. I never played Miitomo. I just didn't. I will continue to look at this. I don't know if I will purchase.
Capcom Arcade Cabinet was announced. We got 19...
Paging Jason Marshall. Paging Jason Marshall.
Excitement, the whole show. 1943 is free right now. So is Ghosts and Super Ghouls and Goblins till Thursday when the new game comes out. So you can get it for free until then. And then there's 3 packs which cost $15 each, or I believe $30 if you buy all 3 at once. Or yeah. So you save money. It's got all the classic, like Street Fighter 2. I mean, there's some cool games in there. But I feel like a lot of those games are already available in other arcade packs. But it's still a cool concept, especially if you like those games.
Mm-hmm. I also think this is just another example of Nintendo's done with the virtual console.
Yeah.
Which sucks. You want down, Michael? Okay, I'll get you down.
We got the announcement for Splatoon 3.
My roommate actually called
I might play it.
I enjoyed 2. I don't know if I would get... I have a love-hate with like shooters, like hero shooters in a sense. So I don't know if I'd jump on it day one. I mean, it's not a full hero shooter, but in a way, I felt Splatoon is definitely more accessible than most shooters. Because you could be like more of a support and still have fun with the game.
For sure.
I don't know what they're gonna add to it. It was just a teaser. It was a drawn out teaser.
It was mostly just showing off the new setting more than anything.
Yeah.
The Splatlands, which is just bad. That's just no.
And
Splatoon's great. You should play it. It's way lower of an entryway for a shooter than most. Low barrier of entry, high skill ceiling.
did I miss any smaller games before I talk about that tiny iconic game?
Yeah, just a couple things. The end of this week, there's the Super Mario DLC for Animal Crossing.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're in the items.
There's
What?
that really trash looking thing, the DC superhero
Oh yeah,
girls.
the DC Superhero Girls.
Oh, that was painful for my eyes to watch. New Monster Hunter trailer.
New
I
Monster
don't.
Hunter.
I think that DC thing is just it's not for any of us. I don't think.
Talk
No,
about,
it's very much not our age or
Oh no, like it's not our age bracket.
that's a kid's game.
It's watch the show and want to play it out.
Was it Ghouls and Ghosts Resurrection?
Yeah, they did. They did. There was a second Ghouls and Ghosts announcement
Well,
because
during the Capcom, it's free until that game comes out.
yeah,
And then you have to buy it.
Yeah.
There's something for Danganronpa.
the people who make Danganronpa and the Nonary games are putting out World's End Club.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, World End.
Which
That was one of the things early on.
Like when I was listening to that when it first happened, and I was thinking it was that dinosaur one from the PS5. I was thinking it was that, and then I went back and watched. I'm like, oh, this is something different. I played one of the Nonary games. I did not play Danganronpa, and that's where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Two ports, Outer Wilds, and then
Yes.
the so heavily rumored this wasn't even remotely surprising Apex Legends coming in March.
Yeah.
Did I miss this? Is this where we're going? But No More Heroes got a release date?
Oh right,
Oh shit!
Yes.
No More Heroes 3 coming August 27th.
And that game looks like they never said no to any idea to add to it.
Pretty much.
Which that's Suda 51, and I'm kind of in.
Okay, and that's everything I had minus the last thing you're definitely going to mention.
So everyone recognized this anniversary except Nintendo, because apparently they thought the Direct was enough, because Zelda turned 35 yesterday. Nintendo didn't really acknowledge it, but they did announce at the Direct Skyward Sword is out July 16th. I didn't play Skyward Sword, but for someone who's played Zelda games, I thought they could have done more for the anniversary. Like, I know it's one of the last games before Breath of the Wild, but I feel like it's not talked about as much. Like, I feel that there could have been so much more for the anniversary. And let alone release
Agreed.
on the anniversary. Like, this is July. This is like obviously game development's a weird thing, but like I feel they didn't like it's not even okay, we acknowledge it's 35 years old. Here's a game that's coming out soon.
Yeah.
That most of its fan base could actually care less about.
I mean the
Or
coolest
couldn't
thing
care less about.
the coolest thing about the announcement is the Joy-Cons, not the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which you can't even order, I don't think, anymore.
I will
Very
go ahead.
weird.
I will say this. I did not like Skyward Sword when I played it, but I also I think when I started playing it release week and eventually realized I was just going to bounce off of it, and I'm like, okay, well, I know GameStop will take this game back within 7 days. So I'm like, I'm just going to pound my head against this game until I beat it and take it back. I beat it, didn't think much about it, and took it back. Got most of my money back, and I think I bought like 2 other used games for the Wii, and I don't remember what those games are, but I remember playing Skyward Sword. I think this is going to, for me specifically, this is going to be, okay, let's see if what I knew then changes with what I know now. Like, I will play this again. I like the Legend of Zelda games. I remember playing that and finishing it going, you know what? I think I might be done with Zelda. And then Breath of the Wild happened. And I'm like back in. So I will say this. I would not make this your first Zelda, Michaela.
It won't be.
Okay.
Swear to fucking God.
What?
Do I have a choice? I have 2 Zeldas, and it's either going to be Breath of the Wild or Link to the Past.
Okay, so
The original.
Okay, so I feel like trying to ask. I remember when I was on Sean Capri's podcast and we talked about the original Legend of Zelda. That was my favorite game of all time before Outer Wilds took its place. You should play Outer Wilds. Outer Wilds is really good. But I think playing Breath of the Wild is enough of a stand-in experience for the first one for a couple of reasons. If you don't have people playing the first one organically at the first time, it's a way different experience. If you're using a guide, it's kind of like, wow, they just sort of put this wherever and you had to find it. But the joy about the original Legend of Zelda was talking with people about what they found. And then when you beat the game and started over, everything was in a different spot. So you kind of had to collaborate once again. Like, all of that was cool. Whereas game design has come a long way. And Breath of the Wild kind of signposts a lot of that without saying, hey, go here to get the thing to do the Zelda.
Yeah.
It allows for exploration and experimentation in a way that the first one certainly did, but not in the first one. Going back to it, it doesn't feel like a designed game. It feels like, let's just put this here and see if people find it. So I would definitely say Breath of the Wild or Link to the Past is probably the way to start.
I'd go, if you're gonna go that route. I agree with Matt, because like trying to play the original, if you have the time to go through it and do it without a guide, to do that first. But if you want to save time, just go right to Link to the Past.
Yeah.
And play that, and then play Breath of the Wild, and then maybe go back and play 1 and 2 with a guide. Because I agree with them. It is talking to people about, like, what did you find? Where did you find it? You know, like, what's going on here? I think I'm one of the few people that actually enjoys Legend of Zelda 2. I don't think
Legend of Zelda 2 is underrated.
Right. No, I agree with you wholeheartedly, but I think I'm like that is like the Mario Sunshine version of the Zelda games, because like not a lot of people like Mario Sunshine, but I love Mario Sunshine.
Mario Sunshine's good.
Mario Sunshine sounds like me talking about FF2. Your Zelda 2 is my FF2.
Right. It's a great game. So if
FF2 was that
some guidance in where you're going with Zelda and where you're going to start, I feel like you could do like what I did with the Soul series, where I started with Bloodborne, and so like Link to the Past is like a refinement of what they were trying to do, and so you can enjoy that and get into it and have fun with it, and then go back and like experience Zelda, the first Zelda, and have fun with that, and then Zelda 2. But I think if you're going to start with any of them, heck, if you want to start with Breath of the Wild, I'm not going to be mad about it. I mean, obviously, it doesn't matter if I'm mad about it.
Right.
But I would say start with Link to the Past and then go Breath of the Wild and then obviously Skyward Sword. Like I never played Skyward Sword, so my experience with the Wii and the Wii U has been
Fuck motion controls.
Sure.
that's it right there. Okay, I had a Wii U. I played what was it?
You had a
Twilight
Wii or a
Princess?
Wii U?
I had a Wii. Sorry, I had a
Okay.
Wii, and I played Twilight Princess for a hot minute and was like, "This is trash. Like this is not precise. I don't have complete control over my character. Not that you're really doing games, but it was definitely not the way that you normally did, especially with Ocarina of Time. And so I sold it to pay for a cruise to go on. And then when I saw they were coming out with the Wii U, I was like, I'm good. And so I got away from the Zelda series for a while. And
Mhm.
I will have to say that it was very nice coming back to the Zelda series with Breath of the Wild. And it kind of like rekindled that flame. And I'm excited about it, almost to the point where I'm ready to buy Jeff's was it Link to the Past 3DS edition from him, because he's like, I don't really use this thing. I'm like, don't sell it unless you sell it to me.
Jesus fucking Christ! I just bought a 3DS. Why didn't he talk to me about this?
Because he likes me more. No, I'm just kidding.
Fair. No, he probably does. He probably does. I mean, you're definitely more available to play games with him than I am. So that's
Well, no, he
totally understandable.
so we were like, legit, like one of the last hikes I was on with my wife, when we would take a break, I'd pull out my phone and I'm shopping on Amazon for like 3DSs because I knew like the anniversary was coming around, and I'm like, if they don't port the Game Boy / Game Boy Advance games to Switch like they should have, where can I play them? Okay, 3DS. And then I'm looking at all those, and that thing is like uber expensive. So I just happened to mention it.
Well, if you're, I mean, I would get I got the new 2DS XL, which is basically a 3DS without the 3D. It's actually all right.
Well, I think it is the 3DS XL.
It's
It's one of the Zelda editions.
Yeah, I didn't get the Zelda edition. I just got the cheap one.
But anyways, we were sitting there talking about it, and I'm like, yeah, I've been looking at that. He's like, oh, that's funny. He's like, it's been sitting in my drawer of my coffee table, and he's like, I haven't touched it, I don't think, since I bought it. And I said, and he's like, I'm thinking of selling it. I said, if you sell it, you let me know. I said, I will drive to Massachusetts and punch you if you sell it to anybody else first. But anyways, so Zelda is awesome. Breath of the Wild is amazing. I understand what he's saying, because like when you get into Breath of the Wild, it's kind of like, where do I go? What do I do? And you kind of like need direction. And so I feel like if you did Link to the Past, you'd have a little bit more direction with that. And then if you need any advice on Breath of the Wild, there's Jason, there's Matt.
And I'm gonna defer you to Moose, because
I also have a Jess.
And you have a Jess who is probably gonna be jumping through the roof at the fact that you're like,
I gotta look. She's got at least 500 hours in Breath of the Wild.
So yeah. Jason, did you just do this?
What?
This retweet of Cheap Ass Gamer, or did this happen a long time ago?
Which, I mean, I probably not just now. I don't know my phone on.
Okay, because I was about to get fucking angry at you again. limited run coming to Best Buy. Hyperlight Drifter.
That was early.
Overdin. Mother.
But yes, Skyward announcement, and there are. I could be wrong. There are 19 Zelda games in the main series, and I think there's like 40 something in total. Like you picked Skyward Sword, and then I mean, and I get why they did it, because it's the last thing before Breath of the Wild, and that kind of changed the whole perspective. But it's just like I don't agree with what they did with Mario, like limited edition, like those 3 games. But like,
this
wouldn't have been. It wouldn't like, and I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't buy it. It would have been cool, like Zelda 35th edition. Here's Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and something else in a limited thing. Like, couldn't you have done something similar?
Limited physical. Don't do it to the digital like we did with Mario.
But
Well,
like
I feel like
point being, like, there's so many games. Like, there's even more Zelda games than Mario games, and
yeah,
Mario's in every property Nintendo has in some shape or
Yeah.
form. Like, it just seemed weird.
But they don't do Zelda sports games.
Right. Like, it seemed weird. I mean, I'm sure there are people who are happy, and it just, but then on the actual anniversary, they didn't even acknowledge it.
No, that's the big one right there. They didn't even do shit. They
Well,
took that Sunday off.
Like, we have Mario Day, March 10th. Zelda got nothing, even on the anniversary.
Nintendo didn't even make up Mario Day. Dumbass people on the internet made that up.
True, but
but I think Nintendo probably looked at how Mario 3D All-Stars was received, and while people were happy to have those 3 games in a way they could play it on Switch,
yeah,
they were also like, yo, this is for his 35th birthday, and you are not acknowledging the history at all.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of like, okay, well, fine. You get mad. We're damned if we do, and we're damned if we don't here.
No, they're not damned if they do. They don't. They don't do. They didn't do jack shit. They don't do jack. Like, they gave us 3 games in a collection. Didn't even fucking do barely anything to remaster them.
Sure.
Didn't put any. They could freaking shit in a box, and the fucking Nintendo fans would buy it for $60.
Yep.
I mean, what's on the box though? What's on the box? What's the box
it's ridiculous.
I mean,
like, Nintendo bends their fans over the table and they turn around and say, more please. That's what they do. Like, it's like, what are you guys are fucking ridiculous. You're ridiculous. Like, there was a streamer that I watched when the 3D All-Stars came out, and he bitched and he fucking complained about what Nintendo was doing with it. Guess what he did?
Bought him.
And he streamed it, but then he also streamed Mario Maker and stuff, because he was like, I'm done with Nintendo, I'm done with Mario, I'm done, blah, blah. And then, what are you doing? You're streaming it. Shut the fuck up, asshole.
I mean,
well, hang on. I think that's also theater to a point.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like, sure, the 3 games, it's just an emulator. They didn't do anything. But the last time I played Super Mario 64 was on a Nintendo 64, which I do not have. And I'm not shelling out the money I've looked to buy one is probably more than buying a Switch with Mario 35.
Yeah.
So
right.
I was happy, like, sure, it's a bad, but I have actual memories of playing 64 on a 64, not like, so to me, like, that's a nostalgic thing. Like, sure, for people who didn't play it, it's like, oh, this looks terrible. It's like, but you didn't experience it when it happened. Like, would I like a brand new one? Of course. But I'm happy to play that one on my Switch portable, like walk around the house with it. Like,
I think the problem with Nintendo is they've grown, like, stagnant, because, like, their customers will buy anything. And, like, I kept my expectations low for this because, like, I know the 35th anniversary is coming out. They're going to do something for Zelda. I feel they could have did more. Like, for God's sakes, just be like, okay, what was it? Majora Mask 3D Edition and the Ocarina of Time 3D Edition are on Switch, available today, like, after they made the Skyward Sword announcement, and that would have been fucking awesome. Like, I would have been in there and been like, what do you want for them? Give it to me. But they could do so much more, but the problem is they're not, like, hungry for it. You know what I mean? They're just doing, like, the bare minimum. Like, it would have been awesome if they would have came out and just showed a trailer, and it was The Legend of Zelda, the first game in the Breath of the Wild engine, and just went with it, put a release date out. Fucking people would have went insane.
They could have just said, they could have released it 2 years from now and said, yeah, we just started working on this because COVID happened. And we couldn't really get the resources together to get this out for the
Plus, we're working on Breath of the Wild 2, motherfuckers. Come on.
Yeah. Like,
They did say news this year. That is a small shred of something.
So I wanted to, like, lead to that because it's like, okay, so we got Skyward Sword. And I know a lot of people were disappointed. I'll be honest, I wasn't, like, the happiest, but I was like, oh, I never played it. They kind of got rid of the motion controls. I'll try it. You know what I mean? So I wasn't like completely disappointed, but I wasn't like through the roof, over the moon for it. But they said we're going to have news coming later this year. Now, there are rumors that Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are going to be released later this year, which are rumors. And I hate when people are going around saying, yeah, those are coming later this year. It's like, no, those are rumors. But I have a feeling like when they have that direct or mini about like more talks about the Breath of the Wild 2, that's when they'll say like something else. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's when they can step in and be like, oh hey, like the Minish Cap, what was the Seasons games?
Yep, there's two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons.
Yep.
Yes. Like they're all available.
Which are by Capcom, I think.
I think you might Minish Cap was by Capcom. I don't know about the season ones, but you might
actually have those on 3DS.
Yeah. So it's just like you could do a little bit more. Like coming out and saying that stuff is now on the Switch is not going to be detrimental to the 3DS. You've already put the 3DS in the grave. You just need to cover the fucking casket. You know what I mean? Like you've buried the 3DS with the Switch. Just stop thinking like, oh, we're gonna hurt sales if we put it out on the Switch. Like the Switch is
you're not making money off it anymore.
Right?
At least I don't think you are.
Right. Except for
if you are,
like
how?
who want to play like old school Zelda games, and it's like
which basically means Nintendo is the aftermarket for all the 3DS shit. They bought it all from places and are selling it at a premium. That's what I figured it out. That's my QAnon theory, y'all.
but like I said, so I thought I'd be most excited about the Zelda game announced, but it turns out it's the Mario golf game, because I looked at that and I was like, that looks a lot like everybody loves,
right?
Everybody's golf.
Everybody's
but
golf.
But it's Mario. And so I feel like it looks like it's one of those games where like you can have a lot of fun with it without playing it a lot. So like it's kind of easy to pick up, maybe a little bit harder to master, but not as much as like everybody golfs. So I'm excited to try it. It'll be my first Mario Golf game.
Oh, Mario Golf's dope.
Yeah.
That was it for Nintendo, right?
Correct. And then the other big event,
right behind Jason.
So BlizzCon was canceled last year due to the pandemic. They moved it to digital only this year, so everyone got to experience it. Because normally you have to pay to go, but all the events are you can watch the panels, kind of like what you do with PAX or everything like that. Yeah. So the worst kept secret on the internet was confirmed. Diablo 2 is coming out. Diablo 2 Resurrected is coming out on everything. Console, PC, and all consoles and PC.
And whatever switches. You're going to say console, PC, and Switch. So whatever the Switch is.
It's a console, PC, and Switch. Poor Switch. It's a console.
But see,
it is its own category.
That's a testament to just how fucking weird Nintendo is. It's just like whatever they're doing, they're in a class by themselves.
I'm super excited. Diablo 2 is a different game than like people who have played 3. 3 was more like 1.
3 was 1 essentially. It was 1 with a lot
Diablo
more
1, 2, and
randomness.
3 are like the first 3 Die Hard movies. 1 and 3 are connected. 2 is a different game, and 2 is, I would say 2 is more complex than 1 and 3. They added a lot of systems. 3, they kind of simplified it again. I think 2 has 5 or 6 classes. Diablo 3 didn't get that till like an expansion and then a patch later. So that, and it looks good. I know. Yeah. I know Moose has seen the reveal trailers. It looks a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm excited about Diablo 2.
I mean, it took me back to living with my parents and playing it in my bedroom. Like that was a lot of hours of my life, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't conflicted about getting it. Not because I don't want to go back, but also like I have my memories, and I think I might just want to go on with those.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's totally understandable. But I want to play. I want to play one of the original looter games
Sure.
where like like I feel like games these days are just like give you loot like crazy, and it's like you think it's good, but it's not. It's like trash. And so you gotta go through like a lot of stuff. Like I want to play a game where like I'm playing for a while, and then like when I actually get an epic piece of loot, like it's an improvement. I equip
Mhm.
it. I don't have to go sit there and like compare. Like I feel like
Do the math. There's no high school algebra to figure
right. I
out.
don't have to like
Shit.
min max shit. Like I said that to one of the guys I was playing Division 2 with. He was complaining about not getting any drops, and I'm like, motherfucker, did you ever play Diablo 2? I was like, not saying that I did, but I'm like, any game prior to current gen or even the gen before, I'm like, you had to hunt for a long, long, long time to get anything that was reasonable. They freaking give out legendary guns like it's fucking candy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Y'all bitches are spoiled. Shut the fuck up.
You pick up like a
Shut the
ton of
fuck
loot.
up, kid.
Shut, nerd.
Like Borderlands, like it rains legendaries.
Oh, jeez.
In Diablo, you pick up that one piece, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
And admittedly, when 3 was announced for console, I was like, this won't work. And it actually worked really well on console.
Yeah.
So I'm even more excited for 2 now to play on console because it works so well on 3.
Well, the funny thing is, like, and I think it's really hilarious that how much Blizzard like just underestimated Diablo 3 on consoles, because like it just took a hold, and like it was selling so well. Gamers were playing. They were like, we're not gonna do seasons on consoles. They eventually turned that around because like it was doing so well on consoles, and it's like y'all need to understand that there's a player base here that wants to play this game. And one of my hesitations in watching the reveal trailer was the fact that they were going to kind of like make it look like Diablo 3. Not that I had a problem with Diablo 3, but from my understanding, when I watched like older Diablo 2, I think Diablo 2 was what, 20 or 2002?
2000, I think.
Was it? Jesus.
Because
Well,
the first one was GameSpot's first game of the year in 1996.
wow. Well, my buddies were playing it in college. In
Michaela
2000.
was 3.
I was not 3. Like, wait, which year are we talking about?
She
96.
wasn't
96.
born yet.
I
She
was
wasn't
2.
born. But
no, you're right. 2 had a grimy look. 3's more refined.
Right, like between 2000 or 2002 and 2004, and my buddies were playing it in college, and I'm like, I don't have a PC to play this, but the one guy I was watching play it, we eventually played World of Warcraft together. But so I kind of know what the style looked like, and so I was like, are they? And I feel like what they did with the Resurrection was give it enough polish and like refinement that it doesn't look like 3 for the people who hated 3, like TV, but it still looks really nice. Like it still looks like really good. Like you watch that trailer and they like do the slider where it's like, here's the graphics what it was, and now here's what it is, and you're like, ooh, this looks really good. So
Yeah, I like when games add that, like you could play in the original aspect or the new.
yeah, because they have that, right? You could play in the old school.
Just at a switch, click of a button.
Yeah,
And
which
then,
is nice.
Demon Souls did that with the grime filter, basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Demon Souls. Yeah,
there's cross progression. People are pissed at like,
Which is good.
like cross buy. It's like, how many developers do you know release a game on console and PC and it's free on the other? Like it's a different system. Like it's not like PS4 to 5. Like, oh, it was free upgrade. Like, but I think it's kind of cool. Like I have Diablo 3 on multiple systems, so it'd be cool to be. Well, that's my gripe with 3. I bought Reaper of Souls on PC because they said we are not bringing this to console. The day after launch, coming to consoles in one. It's like, Motherfuckers.
So wait, how many you bought it? What when it original dropped? You
I have it
bought
on PC,
PC,
PS3, and PS4, and Switch. To be fair, I didn't buy the Switch one. It was a gift.
Someone paid for it though.
So
Okay.
they showed Diablo 4's new class, the Rogue.
Looks cool.
Awesome.
I didn't see any of this, by the way.
She takes ears as trophies. Because that's what
Fair.
assassins do.
I mean, yeah. If I were a rogue, I would do that.
And then we got the announcement of the Burning Crusade Classic is coming out for World of Warcraft.
Classic.
But what's cool is if you don't want to play, they're having separate servers. So you can remain on vanilla WoW and the server will not access the Burning Crusade. So if you don't if you own the Classic, you get Burning Crusade, but you don't have to opt into it.
Yeah.
So the servers will remain level capped. That's the end of it. There's no burn. But then if you want, you can play on a different server with Classic and Burning Crusade, which I think is a cool thing.
Are there people that only want to play OG WoW and not any of the?
There are.
Okay. I'm just asking. I'm asking because I don't know.
I started at the end of Classic. Burning Crusade was really my first foray. Most of my, I only played maybe 20, 30 hours of original. So to me, Burning Crusade is more appealing. With all the quality of life changes now, I can't go back. I've tried.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool giving that option. You could do Classic, or you could do Classic and Burning Crusade.
Yeah. I started 2005, so like you said, at the tail end, Classic before Vanilla, before they put out Burning Crusade, and I got my character to level 60 a week or two after Burning Crusade came out. And I you asked are there still people that want to play Classic? There's people that want to play it for a reason, and it's just they don't like the changes to their classes, although I feel in Classic the Paladin was fucking useless as far as the DPS goes. So I feel the consecutive expansions past just vanilla made the Paladin better. But it's just nice going back, and because I feel the reason people want to play Classic is because it has the Classic grind. And not that the grind's a good thing and not that it's a bad thing, but you can power level if you get traditional WoW and just go in there and just start leveling, and you're just earning levels like crazy. It's a slower burn as far as the play style, learning how to play your character. And I also think I think the biggest thing behind it is nostalgia. It's just a huge hit of nostalgia. I'm always chasing that dragon. That World of Warcraft MMO dragon. I haven't had that hit in a long time, but it's I'm looking I tried it with Final Fantasy 14. Not that Final Fantasy 14 is bad. I feel Final Fantasy 14 is better than WoW in a lot of ways, as in you don't have to make multiple characters to do multiple classes. All your classes live under the clothes that you wear and the job classes you pick. But I still feel that first instant you just make a character and you're fucking killing spiders until you do another quest in town and start moving. And then the second,
going into the forest and hunting boars forever.
Right. And also, to its credit, World of Warcraft was the first social game I played. So it was the first game I ever played where I played with other people online, where it was you're just killing something and some dude just rolls up and is like, hey, what's up? You want to party up for a couple quests around here? Hell yeah, let's do it. And just at first it was I don't know how to do that. So then you work through it and then you team up and you're going and killing stuff and then you do your first instant. And it's just it's an awesome experience for your first, MMO. And so I feel that's why a lot of people like to play Classic.
And it's genius on their part that it's free if you play retail.
Yeah, and then here's the other thing.
Like I could play it, but I don't want to. But
Yeah.
it's there. Like you don't have to. Like you could purchase just classic, but if you currently play, they're tapping into a 15, 20 million player base.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want to play, if not, okay. I mean,
yeah. The funny thing is the fact that as soon as I heard they were going to be announcing Burning Crusade, I'm like, are they just going to re-roll through all the expansions again? Like, it's going to be like,
what is it? Isn't it Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, then Cataclysm,
Pandaria,
and then Pandaria?
Yeah.
I don't think they'll go. I think they'll stop because later expansions actually go back and use older expansions for content. They blend it. I think.
But what's really nice about it is the fact that like Classic also allows you to play World of Warcraft and kind of be done.
Plus, they're different. At a certain point, the game became what it is today with tweaks. But like the game today is totally different than Burning Crusade.
Yes, right.
Like, but at a certain expansion, they're all more. They're similar. Like it's a drastic change between Classic and Burning Crusade and now. So I think at a certain point they're going to stop because it's not that much different. But we saw the new content for Shadowlands. The Blizzard Arcade Collection was announced for PC and console and Switch. That's going to be
I got a story about this.
That's going to be a running joke now. PC, console, and Switch.
I mean,
before the story, the other two small things. Hearthstone got an expansion announced, and
not surprised.
2 new maps for Overwatch 2 and a new hero that will be in the game, but no further detail is released or anything.
It'll probably be this fall.
Overwatch.
I think they said Overwatch is not this year. I think they did say that. Yeah.
I feel like Overwatch is a game. I feel like, why is there a new game? Just keep, unless you're
just turn it into like a games as a service.
But like,
I think they're doing Overwatch 2 because of PvE. Personally,
yeah, they're adding the PvE content. But yeah, the arcade collection has Lost Vikings. What were the other two? There was a race.
Lost Vikings, Rock and Roll Racing, and then there's the other one that I always forget because I didn't play it, but I played Lost Vikings and Rock and Roll Racing, and both those games are really cool.
Lost Vikings.
I want to say it's Mordheim, but I feel like that's wrong. Someone asked Dr. Google.
No, you just do a hard Google.
Huh?
Blackthorn.
Okay, yeah, way off. The fuck is Mordheim then? No, so I have a story.
It's Valheim and Morbid 7 Acolytes.
About probably
together.
Probably. A survival Bloodborne clone. What a world that would be. So I remember playing Lost Vikings in or around the time of release. Like my family was new to PCs at the time, and a guy that worked with my dad, his name was Chris, and I remember like he was a nice guy, but he was kind of that intolerable nice guy because he thought that because I was a kid asking him questions about computer stuff, everything he had to say had to be like cool or hip or jokey, and I'm like, I can't ask you anything, can I? Anyway, he brought a whole bunch of games that he had on blank discs, so I'm assuming they were legitimately procured somehow. But this was also the age of shareware, where everything was kind of the wild, wild west anyway. But Lost Vikings is a really cool game that leads to this other game that I'm going to mention, because there's a character in this other game called Goblins, was spelt with 3 I's that has haunted my dreams for literally 30 years. I posted on Twitter about this. I just remember this particular character, and I don't, as someone who doesn't remember dreams very, very much, especially with any detail, this has been a constant thing that has popped up in my head to a point where I just remember it was from a game. And for the longest time, I thought it was like 3 little elves or whatever. But then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure I played that game around the same time as Lost Vikings, and I'm pretty sure they were similar. So I Googled similar games to Lost Vikings. There it fucking was. And I like watched a playthrough of it, and I saw that fucking asshole. I'm like, I remember you. And now that I've seen you defeated, I don't know what I'm going to do, because I'm not sure I want to play goblins again. But I beat Lost Vikings, and Lost Vikings is really fun. You should play it. It's a really cool strategy puzzler point and clicky game from that era, and it's definitely worth your time. And so my box quote for goblins: it may haunt your dreams for 30 years. Who knows? Move on. Let's move on.
Yep, that's available $20 on
Everything
and Switch.
and Switch.
And that's about it. I mean, there's a lot of, like any typical like packs or anything, a lot of panels, Q&As, a lot of current stuff, new stuff coming. The new Warcraft stuff was exciting. It's the first major patch, so it's nice that it was now, because had it been when BlizzCon normally was, we'd be waiting probably even longer. So it's exciting as for someone playing now. It's like it's going to be soon.
Isn't it normally like the end of the year BlizzCon?
Yeah, it's usually November-ish, October, November.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't delayed that long.
Yeah.
But no, but I meant more. So they announced the first patch, but had it been November, obviously more time would have. Now it's a shorter span for when it's released. Hopefully, we didn't get a date, but the test client went up, so that means it's soon.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, that's
Blizzard.
no one else had a showing.
Sony should. Xbox should, but they don't. I don't know if they have anything, but Sony should soon. Like, they've got shit to promote.
Nope. We're going to go the Ratchet and Clank style. Just tweet it out.
Just tweet it out.
Because I real quick, my tinfoil hat theory from last week, I'm sticking with this. So they added a section on the PlayStation Gear store for a new Horizon Forbidden West gear collection. They did that for Ratchet and Clank a couple months ago and then announced the release date. I'm thinking by like April, like 2 months from now, they're going to talk Horizon and announce it for like the fall release window this year.
What is it? What they added? What? Where?
So they added merch to the PlayStation.
Put your tinfoil hat on, Matt, and listen.
Yes, you know how.
I gotta go make a tinfoil hat.
PlayStation Gear, the way that the online store, the way Sony does it, is you can look at all apparel or whatever, but they also have collections by game. So there's a Bloodborne collection, there's a Ghost of Tsushima collection, and so on and so forth. A Last of Us.
Okay.
A couple months ago, they put up
T-shirts and stuff, essentially.
T-shirts, mugs,
Water bottles,
vinyl, water bottles, all that stuff.
Wait, they have vinyl on there?
Yeah, there's a vinyl for Horizon in the new collection. Sorry. Now he hates me instead of Jason for a minute.
Fuck you guys for not telling me this.
I did. I put it in the Discord. Nobody listens to me.
Which Discord? The message.
Whoa.
The message or the Discord?
I don't know.
See that general.
I put it in one of them
for our server. You gotta go with the
direct.
Go with the message.
I probably put it in the direct chat, but the point is, so they a couple months ago they made a Ratchet and Clank section of the collection. on PlayStation Gear, and then announced Ratchet and Clank. Got the release date. So they made a Horizon Forbidden West or a Horizon Raw Materials collection last week. And I bought a bunch of shit. 3 t-shirts, a mug, a Funko, and the comic book.
That was really more like celebration with
I
you.
didn't know whether to be happy or tell you to quit hitting yourself. I didn't know what was going on there.
Yeah, so my theory is that the way that the Ratchet and Clank collection was a precursor to the Ratchet and Clank release date announcement. I think that's what's in the cards next for Horizon. They basically just, to me, confirmed that it is the next exclusive and it will be the fall lineup headliner for Sony. But that's all my tinfoil hat theory. That is not confirmation of anything. It's just Sony adding gear to the store.
In a timely manner.
Mental note, I need to make Michaela a tinfoil hat.
And
so she can wear it.
The last piece of exciting news for the week, Outriders has a demo on the 25th.
Mm-hmm.
The demo is not timed, and it's not going away when the game comes out either, which is kind of cool. So if you're still on the fence, you can play this. The game is coming out April 1st, despite the date, which they have announced that, yes, we know, but it's still coming out.
March 31st, they're just going to delay it.
I'd see Biomutant being delayed.
Don't do that.
Yeah. I won't believe Biomutant's out until it's on my PS4.
Outriders next week. I'm super excited for this.
Okay.
So
I remember seeing Outriders and being like, yeah, hell yeah. And then every time I've seen it since, I don't know. So I'm turning into Justin Doss all of a sudden.
I'm more willing to look at it like after pushing away Remnant because it was like 3-player co-op shooter. Nah, I don't want that. And then now after how much I love it, I'm like, no, I'm more open to three-person co-op shooters.
Yeah. Gotta play more Strange Brigade.
Yeah.
That game's good.
But, all right. Well, next week will be Game Club. Foul Play is on the menu. Moose?
Bye.
At Story Route Zero, we have some cool friends who do some cool things, and I'd like to tell you about them. Phoenix Overdrive uses the power of games and gamers to help heal sick kids through the charity Extra Life. Phoenix Overdrive fundraises for Children's Miracle Network hospitals all year, every year, and the fund culminates in a 24-hour gaming marathon. Find out more about their events and projects online via Facebook at facebook.com/Phoenix Overdrive or on Twitter and Instagram at PHX_Overdrive. You can also join the Facebook group of Pawn Stars at facebook.com/groups/PO Nation in order to share and discuss all the latest in nerd culture. They've also got a podcast, Nerd Overdrive, which you can see weekly at youtube.com/Phoenix Overdrive. You can also catch it on Facebook Live or twitch.tv/PHX_Overdrive. That podcast is also published on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. You want merch? They got merch. Merch can be ordered from tinyurl.com/PHXOD-merch, a portion of which goes to their fundraising efforts. Join the nation and be a hero to sick kids, as El Capitan Rey Osorio, Lee the Maestro, and Becky, the lovely queen of the guild, always say, #Rise Above. Thank you for listening to Story Route Zero. We hope you have enjoyed your time here as much as we've enjoyed having you. Once again, questions, concerns, complaints, pictures of pets, or favorite recipes can be sent to storyroute0@gmail.com. You can yell at us on Twitter @StoryRoute0. Rate us and review us on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you may have found us. as it helps with discoverability. If you'd like to hit us up individually, you can find Moose Cruel at Sven, that's SVHENN on Twitter, PSN, Instagram, and of course Twitch, streaming games. You can find Jason Marshall writing at obelisk.co. You can also find him on Twitter at GimpyJ with 2 Y's at the end, as well as PSN, Instagram, and Twitch. He also has his own website, whereisthepausebutton.com. You can find Michaela Crescione doing all sorts of writing at obelisk.co, as well as on Twitter at RedXMod. My name is Matthew Keel. You can find me everywhere I'd like to be at infinite_rewind. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Twitch, that's PSN, and I also have my own website, infiniterewind.com. Be sure to check us out at all the places. You are always welcome, and you will always have a seat waiting for you on this ride. Thank you for listening, but for now, it's back to the real world for us. So we will see you on the next one.